All right, and welcome everybody to the first show of the Chain Gang Sports Talk. We got myself, Ryan, Randy, and DB in attendance. Volk didn't have to show up on the debut night, I guess. He had other plans. I think he's off with his girlfriend. Yeah, absentee ballots. All good. We're good. Saturday the 10th, getting ready for Sunday, football Sunday tomorrow. I think Miami just got the ball back.
Yeah, they did. Trevor Lawrence fumbled.
That's rough. So, running into that, how are we doing tonight in our bets? I'm looking at a 2-1. I had Army be my one loss, but Arkansas pulling it out for me. And right now, the over for USF and Eastern Carolina looking really good. DB, how you guys doing?
I'm looking at a 3-3 night unless Mississippi State makes a comeback here. Looks like they're down 14-0 early in the third. But I hit on that over 73 for Texas Oklahoma. I don't know if you guys saw that game.
That was an insane game.
But they scored like 40-something points from 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter or through overtime. It was pretty crazy.
Big 12 football.
I don't understand how those games have such high totals and they still go way over.
Big 12 football, no defense.
That game shouldn't have gone over. That Lincoln Riley, I don't know if you saw it, but
no,
they had the ball with like 90 seconds left, I think it was, and it was third down, and they decided Texas had no timeouts, mind you, down 7. They decided to throw it on third down. All they do, run a play, then punt it, and Texas had nothing but throw it on third down, incomplete, clock stopped. Allinger, as much as I bitched about him all afternoon, looking like Kirk Cousins, came down, tied it up, and then overtime was just back and forth. It was crazy.
Yeah, Ellinger got a little bit of Tebow in him. Tell you what.
I guess what I struggle with is how do defensive coordinators not get fired immediately after the game in those high-scoring games?
Like, I don't know. How does anybody keep a job as a defensive coordinator in the Big 12?
What's that?
I said, how does any defensive coordinator keep a job in the Big 12? I don't think it happens.
Yeah, exactly. Big 12 is such a joke.
Well, anyways, so I guess we'll start off with tomorrow. We got the football slate, NFL Week 5. We're going to be just rolling right in here for the start.
I'll probably eat and drink during this entire podcast, just
cool.
For the record.
I got a little bit of vodka here and my standard coffee. Basically how I live my life. Vodka, coffee, can of Copenhagen.
You know what I need to do? I'm going to need to get some tape to put over my ears.
Actually, it's actually disappearing quite well. It's disappearing in your background, so you're doing great.
Okay. Oh, yeah, look at that. It looks like I'm holding my hand up.
Yeah, it's the invisible.
Awesome.
It's the invisible beer. I love it.
That's hilarious.
So first game is Arizona Cardinals going over to New York. West Coast team going to the East Coast 2 weeks in a row. Thought that was a little interesting. Arizona's still favored by 7.5 right now on Bovada at even, and over under set to 47. Note that you have elite Joe Flacco in for the Jets. No Sam Darnold.
I don't know that Sam Darnold was the problem, and to be honest.
No?
No, I think Adam Gase is the problem.
Well, yeah. How that guy has a job still. That's beyond me, but you know what? Hey, whatever.
I mean,
I also think Le'Veon Bell is getting activated this week, if that changes your mind. But personally, this is a pass for me. I'm staying away from this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really nothing going on with it now.
Because the Cardinals, I think, and I know last week they lost to Carolina 31-21, but I think that was a game they should have won. And I don't feel comfortable backing them this week, so I think it's a pass for me as well.
Well, what about, say, the over-under? Maybe you could be looking at an under game, really only because with how decimated the Jets are. What I've got here is I got Darnold's out, Perriman's out, Hogan's out, so he's basically, you got elite Joe Flacco throwing to absolutely no one. And basically
Hey.
there, you got the West Coast team that looked like dog shit last week, scoring points, starting slow because it's a 10 a.m. body time game. Maybe they come out slow. Food for thought. Overall, definitely on that -7.5. I'm not going to take it, and I don't trust the Jets enough to take +7.5. So, as far as a side, I'm going to be moving away from that one.
So that being said, the last time these guys played in 2016, the score was 28-3 in favor of the Cardinals. Obviously, both much different teams. Kyler Murray wasn't the quarterback at the time, but they also didn't have D-Hop, and Clemson just picked the ball off in the end zone.
Was this another game though that was in New York for a 1:00 start? Because I feel like that's a real thing. I feel like the whole body clock games, I think really the only game that shocked me on the body clock type deal was when Buffalo got a run for their money in Buffalo against the Rams this year. Other than that, I really haven't seen a lot of those teams come over from the West Coast over to the East and start off strong.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a pass for me altogether. I don't want to touch this game with a 10-foot pole.
All right, I hear you on that one. Moving on, I think this is going to be a big DFS game. I know DB's probably got a little information on that, but we got Carolina traveling to Atlanta. It's going to be a lightning show, apparently. Fireworks left and right. So, DB, what are you feeling?
So, if I'm going to touch this game, I'm going to wait the Falcons to score, get a lead. We've seen them blow consistent double-digit leads in the fourth quarter. I keep Panthers on the road, but I don't like them enough. Is a decent number, but I want to see if I can get it maybe +7 if Atlanta gets to that 14 point lead.
Well,
a couple stats here that I pulled that you guys might be interested in. What was that?
No, go ahead. Absolutely. Give us all the stats.
Oh, I was going to say, so under Dan Quinn, when the Falcons are favored, they're 18-33 against the spread. And that's 9-26 in the months of September, October, and November. They're also 15-24 against the spread after a straight-up loss. So they did just lose last week to the Bears. Now they have Carolina coming in, who is on a 2-game winning streak. And on top of that, statistically, in Week 5 per Bet Labs, if you're looking at an 0-4 team at home, the road team is 16-4-1 against the spread. So personally, I don't like the Panthers at +2.5. I want to see them at 7 or more. So I'm going to wait to see if the Falcons jump out and try to get a live bet on the Panthers.
I like it. I always love my live bets, especially if it's something like that, and you got kind of the research to back it, especially when you're betting a team against the Falcons that are just notorious for getting up the leads. Jumping over to DFS real quick, let me kind of cover some guys. Let me just start off. I'm a big fan of Mike Davis this week. I think he kind of showed last week that he can definitely fill in for McCaffrey. He's been showing it multiple weeks now where he runs hard. I like how he runs. He puts his head down, he gets those extra yards, and they've worked him in the passing game too, and Teddy Bridgewater has actually shown that he's gone to him a lot. On the other side, it looks like Julio Jones is questionable again, which was the case before the Packers game last week, but he also didn't play at all in the fourth quarter. He left that game early, so maybe there's actually something going on there. If Julio's out, you got to think that Matty Ice is going to be looking predominantly to Calvin Ridley and Gage there. Ridley's priced really high on FanDuel, but that's usually always the case. He's only $7,500 on your DraftKings. I got a couple other options that I'll cover later, but Ridley just kind of stuck out to me. Other than that,
I definitely agree with Ridley there. Even if Julio Jones plays, it seems that Ridley is really the go-to guy in this offense for Matt Ryan. I think and we can touch base on it later with some other guys, like you can put Ridley into your lineup this week.
Absolutely. All right, cool. Gunther, you
Julio
feeling anything?
Jones is just a decoy.
Basically, and that's how he's been. For a couple of years now. He hasn't been the Julio Jones that, brought him to the Super Bowl with with that team, making unreal catches and stuff like that. Do you have a lean on this game? Do you feel a certain type of way? You gonna pass it?
This is stay away. If anything, I lean Carolina.
All right, so we got two leaning on Carolina. DB, are you willing to bet that live? Like, say it does get to 7. Like, where's your bottom on that? Would you say 8, 9? Or are you just looking for something straight up 10?
I would if 10's an absolute lock. If it gets a 10-point live, like plus 10 for whatever reason, like lock me in. But depending on how the game goes, I have to keep an eye on that. 7 could be reasonable, plus 7. I could see Carolina with the backdoor cover here. But if it gets to plus 10, like the way the Falcons have been playing, especially in the fourth quarter, you have to lock that in.
Awesome. Yeah. I like it.
At least throw some pizza money on it.
Why not?
Yeah.
As long as it's not the beer money, we'll move on.
Yeah. You guys have any take on the over-under 54?
Absolutely not. That game, you'd think it would be a lightning show, but at the same time, that's a heavy number to lay. I think it's one of the highest on the slate. I think there's only 2 games that are beating that, and that's the Kansas City game and the Sunday night game. Sunday night game's all the way up to 57 now. Last night it was 56.5. That thing just keeps shooting up.
So real quick before we move on to the next match, DB, what do you think this is a good tease spot? Like, could you tease Carolina to plus 6.5, plus 8.5, and take the under of 60?
I mean, if that's what you're looking to do, I personally don't like.
It would
teasers.
be that under though. I love that Carolina tease, but it'd be the under that would freak me out because I could easily see these. Both defenses don't show up. Carolina is one of the worst defenses in the league, and Atlanta's been Atlanta for years now. That's been their MO, especially just revolving door. Go ahead, run on us. We're fine with that. Like, we'll just outshoot you.
So what if you do Carolina plus 8.5 and then over 48?
Well, see, that would be something better.
Yeah.
I don't really like teasers, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm not a teaser guy, especially with something like that. You might get it for like 120, minus 120, and I'm just not going to lay juice for something that needs to happen. You need a certain type of game. You need them to both score a lot of points and Carolina stay close. With that being said, I liked DB's live bet idea. I'm just going to stay away from it. It's a divisional game, and it's 2 high-scoring teams and 2 shitty teams, honestly. You don't know what's going to happen.
That's the other...
Nothing's going to surprise you whichever way this game goes. You know what I mean? If these offenses absolutely dominate, you're like, well, yeah, the defenses suck. But then if both offenses are just turning the ball over, you're like, yeah, well, it's the Panthers and the Falcons. Of course they're going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, this game's a pass to me. I think this game has potential to be a good teaser.
Well, I feel like this next game is something that you're going to like. We got the Ravens at home against the Bengals, another divisional matchup. You got Joe Burrow headed over into Baltimore. Baltimore favored by 12 points and over-under set at 51. Any leans there, Randy? I know you like that Baltimore team.
I really do, but you know what? Last week was kind of disappointing. They didn't cover last week, number one, and my favorite team's a team that covers a spread. This game's a pass for me. I would almost be willing to put a half a unit on the Bengals, to be honest with you. Joe Burrow is a competitor. He is an absolute competitor. He wants to win. That's all he's done his entire life. So for the Bengals to be 1-2-1 right now, I know doesn't sit well with him, so I don't think there's anyone in that locker room working harder to win than him. AJ Green, starting to show signs that wants to be a part of this offense. This game is honestly a pass, but I would be very tempted to take a half a unit bet on the Bengals for the plus money.
Okay. DB, you feeling anything on this game, even DFS-wise? I noticed that Joe Mixon's right now got another questionable tag on him, but he did that last week too, all the way up to game time, and then he ran for 3 touchdowns. Or he got 2, and then he caught one. But he still scored the 3 touchdowns.
I don't know if he does that against the Ravens, though.
No, probably not. Them and the Jags are far different.
If anything, I'd lean that plus 12 for the Bengals. I mean, Joe Burrow is a competitor. You got T. Higgins. You got A.J. Green trying to work his way into the offense. Joe Mixon's obviously no slouch. And Baltimore hasn't shown much of a pass rush either, which is really what's been killing the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow's leading the league in sacks so far, and I don't see Baltimore getting to him, even though the Bengals' offensive line is probably one of the worst in the league. I kind of like that plus 12, but it's not enough for me to say lock it in.
So right now, the Bengals' offense is 19th in the league. The Ravens is 23rd. Is that a stat that is surprising to either of you?
That is super surprising. I think
Absolutely.
maybe they got some script on how that Baltimore team runs. They kind of run that power run offense where they get a lot of bodies in front of you, and then you just got quick guys like Ingram and Jackson running behind them. I think teams figured that out a little bit, and I think kind of last year Titans scripted it out perfectly where you're like, hey, listen, if you just basically say, hey, Jackson beat us with your arm, he's proven that in the past he hasn't been able to do that.
So the Ravens are 3rd in the league in rushing. Bengals are 19th. Ravens are 31st in passing, and the Bengals are 16th. So that just reinforces your point.
Yeah.
The Ravens aren't a good passing team. And Clemson's about to take this one to the house.
Well, I got to be honest. I haven't seen how many times this Ravens offense has scored with their receivers. I mean, they got Boykin, they got Brown, and Brown's always good to pop off the top of the defense every now and then. But really, their scorer, as far as the attack, is Andrews. Andrews is pretty much their guy in the red zone. He'll get that off. And who was that? Was that Etienne or whatever his name?
Yeah, Etienne.
Yeah, he is nasty. That kid's been nasty for years now. I've seen him do that a couple times. So that's a good score for you. How many do you need for them to cover? It was 21, right? It was what?
I got Clemson minus 13.5. I had to buy a point.
Oh, there you go. Well, you're doing great now.
Yeah, that's a little bit of breathing room.
I still haven't seen my over for the ECU game cover, which is actually really upsetting me because I was basically pushing at the third quarter.
Yeah. So
they got it. They got it.
Ravens and Bengals, when they played last year, granted Joe Burrow wasn't the quarterback, but Ravens won 49-13.
That's insane.
I don't think that's a 30. I don't think tomorrow. I don't think we see a 36-point difference.
Yeah, no. So I think we all
better
agree.
Management.
Is anybody really feeling confident enough to bet it though?
No.
I mean, either.
That's on me.
I don't want to do that. I really only believe in betting with like what you really feel, what you truly feel, and you can actually see it. I like game scripts.
Don't get me wrong. I think that's going to be a fun game to watch.
Yeah. DB, you back? I think I lost you there for a second.
Yeah, I think I'm back here.
All right, yeah, you sound back. All right, so moving in. This is actually an interesting game, both DFS-wise and spread, stuff like that. Did you
guys have anything in DFS for that Cincinnati-Baltimore game?
No, honestly, I'm fading. Lamar Jackson's been the number one quarterback as far as price goes for a while. My quarterbacks are predominantly cheap. I like going cheap in quarterbacks, expensive in running backs, and then a nice little mix. Like, I'll pay up for a receiver if I just know he's going to have that game where he's like 2 touchdowns, 130 yards, kind of like a Devontae Adams type start. But other than that, I really like going cheap at quarterback. So Jackson's almost always a fade for me. He doesn't really do it in the passing offense this year. You're basically hoping for him to cash in on a 100-yard rush game, which he could do at any given week. But Ingram's been dog shit. And I mean, unless he beats the top off, Marquise Brown hasn't been anything. Hollywood, he hasn't scored.
What about on the Bengals side, though?
Well,
No
Mixon
DFS value.
Well, Mixon
I know
pretty much.
Tyler
Mixon
Boyd
pretty
and
much.
Burrow seem to have a pretty good relationship there.
Yeah, but then you're gonna basically.
Yeah.
I think he gets blanketed by Humphrey.
Yeah.
And Humphrey's proven that he's actually been pretty legit. I just don't.
If you want a
I
dart throw
think it's
here-
a fade there. I mean, you
if you want a
could game
dart
script
throw-
it, but
I want to say, if you want a dart throw here, you could go T. Higgins, but I think there's other options on this slate that you can go.
I've got a
with better
couple.
matchups.
I've got a couple punts that I'll throw out there later. One that I actually really like that I was actually surprised, but I'll hit it when it comes around. But no DFS for that game. So the game that I'm talking about here that does have some DFS implications is the Jaguars going to Houston. This game, Houston's favored by 6. They're 0-4. They've got a historically bad defense. They are god-awful.
Well, they just fired O'Brien, right?
Just fired O'Brien. Got Romeo Crennel calling the shots now. Teams historically are not good when they have a new coach and they fire one midseason. You got Deshaun Watson, which this surprises me every year because every game that I tune in with a Texans game, I see Deshaun Watson running for his life and absolutely like Houdiniing out of sacks all the time. And yet this guy still somehow leads the league in sacks almost every year. It's an atrocious offensive line. Jaguars were hitting Burrow last week. This +6 looking pretty juicy to me. Last night I was kind of thinking like, oh, the Houstons are going to come out there, they're going to win it for their new coach. They're going to, they kind of got their backs against the wall. Here comes Jacksonville looking like easy money. But, Jacksonville they've proven that they don't lay down either. They got a sneaky offense with Minshew throwing a Chark. Chark seems to score every week.
They actually have a higher ranked offense than the Texans. They're 18th versus 25th for the Texans.
Yeah, which is surprising, but also you got to think maybe Deshaun Watson's trying to figure out life without D-Hop, and it's actually proven to be a little bit harder than he expected. Because Fuller is just not that guy.
Fuller now.
Yeah, that guy Fuller's just not the type of guy that can just make himself open. I will say this for DFS. I noticed that on FanDuel, this is a FanDuel only play. James Robinson, he's going off the charts for 6,600, which is only 200 more than David Johnson. David Johnson's a play for me on both sides. Both sides love David Johnson this week. I think that they're going to try to slow the game down, make it a little bit more ugly, try not to get too cute. Romeo Crennel likes old school type football. I could see David Johnson getting a lot of carries tomorrow. Other than that, receiver wise, don't really see anything. I know DB's probably got a couple guys. I think you got a Houston stack, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I am stacking Houston this week in GPP plays. Jacksonville is giving up 400 yards of offense per game right now, and I don't see that stopping. I disagree. I like Houston all day here with the -6. I know their defense has been historically bad, but I think Crennel's going to bring a different kind of energy to this offense that we haven't seen. You're going to see a lot with David Johnson, so I do agree he is a play this week. But you have to stack Watson, you have to stack Fuller. If you want to go cheap, you can also go Brandon Cooks because he is only 5,200 on FanDuel. So you could, if you throw in Cooks, you can pay up for Zeke and those other guys, other high priced guys. Darren Fells this week is also an absolute play with Jordan Akins, I think it is. He is out.
Tight end.
Tight end. So Darren Fells is going to be the guy. He's only 4,700 on FanDuel, which again, at that price, you can pay up for.
Fells is he's like an old school. He's the guy's clutch city.
Absolutely, and when he's healthy, it seems like he's the go-to guy in the red zone for Watson. Yeah. He's the security blanket, and I think that's going to be even more important now without Hopkins. So I absolutely love this Houston offense this week for DFS.
He had some big plays for the Rams when he was on the Rams.
Right. But sticking with DFS, though, if you want to stack like this game, James Robinson is also a play because, as we stated, the historically bad defense for Houston, they're giving up 180 rushing yards per game. So
when
look
you
to
think
see
Houston defense, you don't think bad because you think J.J. Watt on that D line.
right.
It's hard to believe. I mean, so Houston defense is ranked 22nd in the league. Jaguars is 23rd.
Yeah, and if you think like for that playoff team last year, what's really missing? It's really just Jadeveon and Clowney.
Yeah,
which
obviously makes
think about how much of a run stopper he really is.
Well, I think double team J.J. Watt now.
If Minshew might be able to break a couple runs too, but I really like this Houston offense this week.
Aren't they hurt at cornerback too?
Houston probably.
Well, do you want to do our first?
Without a preseason, it seems everybody's hurt. Like everybody has key players that are out.
Do you want to do our first little natty daddy challenge on that? I'll take the 6 points with Jacksonville, and you take the Texans.
Deal.
Do you want to do that? I'll do that with you.
Yep. Let's do it.
That'll be the first one. So for those viewing from home, basically we have this new thing now where if we're against each other, and it's adamantly, like he's definitely taking Houston, I'm definitely taking Jacksonville in this game.
Minshew mania.
We'll just go ahead and say, hey, a natty daddy on it, which loser obviously is going to have to just chug a natty daddy. And at the end of what? It's first 1 to 10, right? So whoever gets 10, say I get 10, you get 5. Now that I've hit 10, the race is over. I've finished. Now you have to do 5 natty daddies for me.
First 1 to 10 wins.
That'll be insane. I'm pretty sure you're going to have one tomorrow when Volk gets off off the girlfriend's teat and stops bowling on a Saturday night.
Yeah. You know what's hilarious? He hasn't sent any picks to us at all today. He claimed he had a 4-game ticket earlier, but I didn't see any tickets.
Well, that's typical Volk. He'll show you. He'll definitely play the winners, but on losers it's tough.
I didn't send any picks to you guys, but I think I was able to get him mostly into the Action app. Most of the time. LaFleur, do you still get a notification when I add bets to Action app?
Yeah. That's how I pretty much know you guys are being legit. If you're actually taking the time to put it out on an Action app, then I can
show you my tickets. I don't
care that much. I mean, honestly, like
it's stupid.
Trust me, I know you're gonna bet all those games that you're betting.
Oh yeah,
you love money just as much as the next guy.
Yeah. You know what's stupid? I faded myself and ended up biting me in the ass. I faded myself on that A&M game.
Yeah, well, I mean, you did pick the winner. If you would have just picked them heads up, granted, Florida had an absolute horrible last quarter. I don't know what the hell they were doing.
I had Florida -5.5. I thought that at least. I was all over when we were talking last night. I was all over A&M, and then just last second, man, I was like, I don't know, like I was because I'm a A&M fan. I was like, you know what, maybe this is just me being a homer, and so last second I changed it to Florida, and
it's never a good. That's never a good start to your day when you're starting to second guess yourself like that. Normally when I feel like that, I'm just not betting it. I'm walking away from it.
Yeah.
With that being said, my bet did just cash. That game ended up being
nice.
Yeah, it ended up finishing off at 68 over. The bet was 58 over. That ended up being a little bit more close than I thought it was because they scored 48 at half. So I was actually kind of surprised at that. Anyways,
I'll drink to that, brother.
To keep it going, cheers, brother. To keep it going, we got Las Vegas. This is actually going to be an interesting game. Here's another game that I'm just keying in on a team. Las Vegas going against the Chiefs. Chiefs -11, and over under is 55. It's the second highest total on the slate. I got to be honest with you. So here's one where. With the type of game that it's looking like, I got a lot of DFS implications here. I think that Kansas City does Kansas City things. They score quick. They might get a lead here. If they get a lead, it's going to be a big one. It's going to be a big one. That's how they play. It's going to be a big lead. It's going to be relatively quick. So, Josh Jacobs on DK, he's only 6,300. That's cheaper than Mike Davis. That's a pretty good number for catching wise, because he kind of proved that they're actually going to throw to him a little bit last week. He did do that. However, on FanDuel, he's 8,200, which is ridiculous. It's like one of the top 4 running backs. That's why I say, hey, swap that out for James Robinson. James Robinson's only 66. David Johnson, 64. Those are actually cheap plays that are actually pretty good. Josh Jacobs on DK, though, 6,300. That's not that bad at all. I could definitely do that. Now, here's one of my punts. I love this punt play if you're trying to save a lot of money. Jason Witten, tight end for the Raiders. He caught a touchdown last week. He doesn't catch much, but when he is in the game, he's in there to catch balls. He's not in there to do the old school blocking shit anymore. He's only 2,500 on DK. If he gets a touchdown, if he gets out there, gets a couple catches, which Derek Carr's going to be throwing if they get down. If he catches a ball in the end zone, you've made your money, and now you've saved all that money to go somewhere else. Go heavy in the wide receiver game. Pop off some of these guys that are going to be, highly valued. Also, you got to think Waller. Waller's just been a beast, and I don't see Waller not being a beast against this Kansas City defense.
He was pretty quiet last game, wasn't he?
Well, he was basically eliminated by the Patriots, but the Patriots do that. Well, the Patriots do that. They're going to take away your best player. They're going to make you play left-handed. That's how they've always been. Yeah. I was kind of surprised that he wasn't, electric like he was. He didn't have that pop-off game, but I think this is the game where, you're going to be throwing a lot, so why not be throwing a lot to your best player?
So that's a great segue into a point I was just about to make. If I was to tell you that Derek Carr is going to enter Week 5 without throwing a single interception,
I would literally think you're higher than me.
Yeah, I'd say you're drunk as shit right now.
Yeah,
no kidding.
Pat Mahomes has only thrown for 39 more yards this year. But yeah, Derek Carr, 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And has a completion rate of 73.6.
That's insane.
Honestly, that is. They would have beat the Bills this past week if they didn't. They had that 3-drive sequence where they fumbled twice.
Well, you're kind of
that.
You mentioned where was Waller last week? I mean, let's give the guy credit where credit's due. He played the Patriots and then the Bills back to back. Two teams that clearly the Bills saw what the Patriots did to their offense, basically stifling them by saying, hey, all you got to do is take out Waller. Was that another pick?
Yeah.
There you go, buddy.
That's just picked it off.
Yep, that'll be great.
He was looking into the backfield the whole time.
That's great. Anyways, so that's kind of what I was looking at. Waller's finally probably getting a defense. It lowered his price tag down where he's not even the most expensive tight end on the slate anymore. Now it's like Kittle. You're looking at Kittle. You're looking at
and Kittle's only
Kelsey.
been back for a week.
Yeah, you're looking at well, he went off on Monday night.
Yeah,
so.
I mean it's but it was one game. I don't know. It's a pretty small sample size.
True. If you're looking at another punt play, though, Hunter Renfrow seems to be, when it matters, when they need a big third down, he's the go-to guy. Outside if Waller is shut down, Hunter Renfrow, too. Yeah, same. So if you're looking for a punt, he's only 5,100 on FanDuel right now. So if you want to play that, it gives you the opportunity to play guys like Calvin Ridley at 8,300. Who else do you have? You could also play Amari Cooper at 7,800 with Dallas. Dallas is going to be chalky this week, and we can talk about that later.
Oh, absolutely.
Every week.
Yeah.
But Hunter Renfrow's a decent GPP dart throw. He could get a touchdown, 80 to 100 yards.
Well, that's what I like. That's what I like about those punt guys.
Or Las Vegas is losing. Yeah. They're going to have to pass, so.
Yeah. That's what I like about those punt plays, though. You just get a guy like Jason Witten, 2,500 on DK. You just give me one catch, You give me one catch for 20 yards, and you've given me what you're worth. You know what I mean? You've made your value work, and now I can go ahead and just hope that all that money that I saved and spent up on somebody else can give me a good old payday.
So
absolutely.
LaFleur, gun to your head. You either have to take Vegas in the points or nothing. You do it?
I would take Vegas in the points. I like Vegas in this game, to be honest. I think they get up for this game. I feel like, this is your division rival. I feel like Vegas, a couple weeks ago we were talking about how good this Vegas team looked, and they played two good teams in the Pats and the Bills, and now all of a sudden everybody's letting they're going to say 11 points. I get they're going into Arrowhead, but it's not like Arrowhead's got its fans. Derek Carr's not going to be able to – he's going to be able to hear himself. He's going to be able to communicate with the offense. And Derek Carr's proven that he's all right. Josh Jacobs, good back. Probably going to try to – like Gruden's a smart coach. He's not a complete idiot. He's going to go out there and he's going to try to keep the ball out of Pat Mahomes' hands, say, Derek Carr, don't force turnover, and just make this game a little ugly. And I'm not saying they're going to win outright. Let's pump the brakes on that. But when you're saying 11 points against a good team, like I think the Raiders are a good team. I like the Raiders.
So last year
they're the second best team in this division. So how is it going to be an 11-point difference?
They played last year in December, and the Chiefs got the better of them, 40-9.
That's insane. Yeah, I mean you're going to have that, but it's a difference of a year. I really just Another thing is the Chiefs been kind of coming out of these games super slow. Now I'm taking out the Pats game because the Pats are like Bill Belichick's going to make you a little awkward for the first half. Then you can figure out what he's going to do. But even against that, Chiefs kind of were slow against the Chargers, which I get Chargers always playing tough. But Chiefs have been slow in a couple of these games and haven't been firepower. I mean, I think Baltimore kind of opened everybody's eyes up. And they were like, all right, the Chiefs are legit. But I think that was just a game where, Chiefs went in there against Baltimore. They knew it was a big game. They knew all eyes were on them, and they showed everybody why they were Super Bowl champs last year. This game, I see the Chiefs kind of overlooking the Raiders and the Raiders popping them in the mouth a little bit.
Yeah,
So gun in my head, give me the Raiders. Gun
me,
without the head, give me the Raiders. I mean, I'm not like, am I gonna throw a whole unit on this game? Probably not. Will I throw a half unit? Yeah, and I'll show you the ticket there tomorrow. I'm willing to take the Raiders on this one.
So Chris Jones for the Chiefs, defensive tackle's questionable. Ricky Seals-Jones is questionable for wide receiver. Bashad Breeland, the cornerback's out. I mean, both teams are pretty banged up. Hankins, Waller's actually questionable.
Yeah, he's gonna. He'll suit up.
Yeah, but I mean, the Raiders' injury list, I mean, it's quite extensive. Like a lot of teams, Trent Brown, offensive tackle,
that's gonna hurt.
Is questionable. That's a huge. If he doesn't go, I mean,
that would hurt for sure.
That's going to affect Jacobs. Jacobs. Sorry, I switched to old school. 10 years ago, maybe more. USA Soccer. But yeah, Jacobs. I mean that Trent Brown. Yeah, that's huge. That's a huge hole. Jalen Richards questionable.
So are you trying to take me on a natty daddy with the Chiefs there with 11 points?
I
mean, you're making a case.
Really
it's only
tempted.
a natty daddy.
Right now, I'm tempted.
It's only a natty daddy. I'm actually gonna take that bet. I like that. I really do. To be honest with you.
All right. Bet natty daddy.
All right. So we got two natty daddies.
Give me the
You're
Chiefs.
probably gonna get another natty daddy though. You're gonna be too deep tomorrow because you know Volk's gonna take those Falcons. I don't want to spend too much time on that game. TB, do you have anything left? I'm trying to move this thing along.
I don't like this game, so pass.
Yeah, we're only about halfway through, and we're 45 minutes into this. Probably about 40
like
with
it.
the actual recording time. Anyways, then we got Rams football team. Rams, another West Coast team going to the East
Rams.
Coast. 1:00 start. Are you gonna say Rams -7.5?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd take that all the way up to probably 10.5. To be honest with you.
No shit. Well,
Yeah.
it's -7.5 at even. So are you gonna lock that one in?
Yeah.
That's a lock. All right.
That's probably my lock of the day, actually.
I like it. DB, what do you think?
Yeah, this game's another pass for me. I know Kyle Allen he wasn't very good last year, but that whole West Coast to East Coast, the football team's defense really it's mediocre, and Goff and that offense didn't look too impressive against the Giants this past week. Robert Woods is another play you could use in DFS, but other than that, count me out.
Well, is
GB,
Chase Young in this game? Hold up, is Chase Young in this game?
Is he? I know he was out last week.
This is free money, DB. They're throwing out here.
Yeah, I don't want it.
Chase Young right now. Chase Young's questionable.
He's questionable, yeah.
If he's out, that's just another guy that's going to be off on that defense.
If he's out, there's no reason this doesn't jump to like 8-9 point spread tomorrow morning. So that's still too much for me. Check the box score at the end of the day. Like this isn't a game that I need to tune into.
What's the line on this one?
This
7.5.
This one,
I think
it's 7.5. Over unders 46.5. So it's a very low scoring game. Not the lowest scoring, which the next game is actually the lowest scoring. It's the second lowest scoring though. And I think a lot of that has to do with Kyle Allen. They just want a game manager in there. They don't want to create turnovers against this defense. They're probably going to go in there. They're just going to try to run the ball, make this game really ugly.
right. Aaron Donald is probably going to eat though, so that may be a prop bet you want to look at. See how many sacks he is, or at least like maybe even just the Rams defense as a whole. They're over under for sacks.
This team has been extremely hot when it comes to the prop bets. Last night, Randy smoked that LeBron James over. LeBron over 27.5. I think he had that in basically the middle of the third.
Yeah. Clemson just scored again. Lawrence just ran one in.
Well, there you go. I saw that Lawrence took a nice pop there. It's good to see him back in the game. Let me see here. I'm going to actually look into that because I would like to know if there is a prop bet for the.
I'm looking it up right now.
For Donald.
I don't know. I know I went with a prop bet a couple weeks ago with Donald, or like a lock of the week, if you will, of Donald having like over 3 sacks or something. And it was against Cincinnati, and somehow Philadelphia didn't get a single sack. It was ridiculous.
You lost me, Philly.
I mean,
the Rams.
And the Rams. I mean,
I got you. Honestly, I don't have a lean on that game. I don't really like this game at all. Like I buy into that West Coast, that 10 o'clock body time games. I buy into that. That's just how I am. This next game, I actually have a very interesting prop bet, though, if you guys want to move on.
Yeah,
and I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm just going to jump right into it. It's Eagles going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers favored by a touchdown. It's -7. Over under set to 44. So it's the lowest scoring game on the slate. Now Pittsburgh obviously
unbelievable.
Well, Pittsburgh obviously didn't play last week due to COVID. And the Eagles got over that emotional hump that was, being Carson Wentz throwing it absolutely. He's throwing at Patty's Pub. They're bringing whoever they can out there, and they are horrible. You basically got Sanders.
Steelers have the number 1 defense in the league.
They do. So this is what brings me on here. So you got that. You got Carson Wentz literally throwing at lawn chairs. You've got the number 1 defense. You got the Eagles going to Pittsburgh. However, the Eagles' first quarter over-under is set to a point. and it's
Damn.
minus 125.
So
It's
as a
0.5.
team, their team total is only 18.5, and Pittsburgh's giving up like 14 points a game right now.
Right. But I'm
Another
talking
crazy
like,
stat-
hey, first quarter, you can script that drive. Go down,
probably
script the
get a field goal or
drive,
some
kick a
shit.
field goal, boom, cash money. You're good to go.
Yeah.
I
I do like
understand.
that.
I don't know that they're going to be able to move the ball against that Steelers defense.
Yeah. The Steelers pass rush is number 1 in the NFL right now at 11.
They're unbelievable. Watching those guys play, it's unbelievable.
Their adjusted sack rate is at 11%, and you know
Well,
that
they've got
Philly
an
O-line is
insane-
banged up.
They've got an
they're-
insane defensive
Honestly,
line.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jalen Hurts takes some snaps this week because you know Wentz might get hurt. It's just a matter of time. He's a ticking time bomb. Earlier in the week, I was looking at the over here just because Pittsburgh's coming off a bye week. Philadelphia's not that good, but I don't think Philadelphia can score enough.
Zero chance I'm taking the over on any Steelers game.
Hey, they are 3-1 so far this season in overs, but
So,
this might be a
Gunther,
live play.
Gunther, gun to your head. Are you taking a parlay? And you could even tease this. Would you take a 6.5 point teaser with the Steelers and the Rams, which would basically put your Rams at 1.5 favored?
Yeah, they basically just have to win.
And the Steelers would just be a point, a half a point. So
I think that's a
both
great
teams
teaser.
have, but like you take those two teasers, that right there, you throw that one in, which honestly you're gonna get this for honestly close to even money. My dumb ass hit the money line.
Most teasers, as long as you don't buy any points, most teasers are 110. Minus 110.
If you could get those two at 110, I'd do that all day.
I think you hammer that.
Honestly, I think because the Steelers have been starting out slow. Look at Houston; they were trailing in that game. This might be a spot too where that if by some miracle the Eagles jump out to the lead, you could get the Steelers at a live spot. But other than that, it's a stay away place for me.
You get that live, that teaser. It's minus 120.
I may actually do that tomorrow.
Minus 120. You need both teams to just win. I mean, win by 2, but that's basically a win.
Yeah.
That's still not bad, though, 120.
Yeah.
That's not much. You're paying 20 cents juice. I'm good with that.
That's an option, guys. It's an option.
Remind me of that at 12 p.m. tomorrow.
I will. So that was all the early games. Now we're moving into the afternoon games. We start off Dolphins. Is this when we're going to see Tua against the 49ers going into San Francisco? That would
Jimmy G's playing.
That would be a tough ask for the for Tua, but 49ers favored by 8 points, over under set to 51. I have no lean. I mean, you could probably throw Devontae Parker out there for a DFS guy. He's not one of mine, but Devontae Parker, he's a 10-catch, 100-yard game guy pretty much every week, just for lack of other options.
That guy's a stud.
They had another guy. I'm forgetting his name right now. They had another receiver that was catching the ball a lot last week.
Preston Williams is getting like 8 targets a game.
That's who it is.
Yeah, he's just not. I don't get it.
He doesn't get a lot after the catch, but he's definitely catching the ball and he's definitely getting the looks. I'm actually curious about that. Of course, they don't have any player props yet, which upsets me because I would love to have some player props in this video, but that's okay.
Honestly, if Jimmy G wasn't playing, I like the Dolphins at +8.
Mm-hmm.
But with Jimmy G, even though that 49ers defense is banged up, it's still the Dolphins. It's still Fitzmagic. He's going to turn the ball over. It's going to be the same thing.
49ers defense is ranked.
He would take some snaps in the second half, but count me out. This is a game I'd rather watch paint dry than watch.
Yeah. I always like to say that football games stay close. So, that's one reason why I'm going to be taking the Raiders. But when it comes down to the Miami Dolphins, going to the West Coast, even though it's not even remotely hurting on your body, it's actually a later game. You're going to feel like you're playing at night. I just see this San Fran team saying we just lost the Eagles and trying to make a statement because no one has them as a top 5 team right now. Everybody's kind of taking everybody else. They're forgetting about San Fran, who made it to the Super Bowl last year, and I think that they're gonna come out and try to stomp on the Dolphins a little bit. Other than that, I'm not gonna take 8 points though. That's crazy. No pick for me. This next game though, if we can segue off.
Absolutely.
This next game is actually super interesting, so I want to save some time to talk about this one. It's the Colts and the Browns. Last night it was -1. Now it's at a pick'em. Money's
Colts.
gone back to Cleveland. This game is in Cleveland. Who do we got? Let's just go around the room.
Last night there was 17 cents on. It was a pick'em, but it was 17 cents juice on the Colts, right?
It was 17 cents on the Colts, and the Browns were -105. Now they're both just -110.
What's
At a pick'em.
what's the under at currently? Can you see that real quick?
The over-under?
46.
Now it's at 48.
At 48.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep an eye on this because if that keeps inching up, I like the under here.
Well, what's the
Supposed to be
weather
shitty.
supposed to be like? Isn't there supposed to be some
I think
weather in
it's-
Cleveland tomorrow? Heavy winds?
I think it is like 15 plus mile an hour winds tomorrow. And Odell just played his heart out last week. I can't see him repeat it against this Colts defense.
Odell, in my opinion, Odell's going to go back into his shell a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. I think Landry's the play this week if you're going to play any Browns guys. But I like Jonathan Taylor for DFS tomorrow. I think he sees a lot of the attempts on the Colts side.
Well, if the Colts definitely take ahead, that's what the type of offense they're going to run. I don't like Phillip Rivers this year. I don't think he's safe. However, I do see them being the more disciplined team. I see him being the more well-rounded team. They've got a damn good offensive line. They're one of the best in the league, if not the best. They could absolutely just make this game a slow, grinded-out, old-school type game where with that wind, you got the rookie kicker from the kid from Georgia kicking for the Colts now. And Cleveland's been they've had their problems with kicking. If you got some heavy winds there, a couple missed field goals here and there, that swings. That speaks volumes to that under. I'm with you, DB. This isn't even the lowest under on the slate, and I'm actually kind of liking it.
So each team is on a 3-win streak right now. The Colts last 3 games, they beat Chicago 19-11 last week. We all remember that one.
Mm-hmm. That was not a good game.
They beat the Jets 36-7, and they beat the Vikings 28-11. That was the Colts. Now the Browns, they beat Dallas 49-38. That was an absolute shootout.
Mm-hmm.
They beat the football team 34-20, and they beat the Bengals 35-30. So tell me, of those last 3 wins for the Browns, Dallas, Washington, and Cincinnati,
They haven't played a defense.
where's the defense that they've played?
Yeah.
Right? Now you look at the Colts, they beat the Bears. I've heard they have a pretty good defense. The Jets, obviously it's the Jets. That's why they beat them 36-7. But then the Vikings.
Vikings have a sneaky defense that have underperformed heavily. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, I don't understand how this is a pick'em. I
Big
really
Harrison Smith fan. They got Linval Joseph, Hunter.
don't. Yeah,
They're legit.
I'm taking Vikings. I'm on the Vikings on this game.
Well, I'm going to get to that too, but we're talking about the Colts and the Browns right now.
Sorry, not the Vikings.
I do like the
meant
Vikings
Colts.
this week,
Jesus
though.
Christ.
We'll get to that in a little bit. But no,
I'm on the Colts.
yeah,
2 units.
2 units on the Colts.
Yeah.
Is that another pick of the week?
Yep.
All right.
And I know not DB.
Volt.
Volk is on the Browns. I'm pretty sure.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You got another. I think you got another natty daddy. That's going to put you at 3 natty daddies because he's going to bet you that one. You got me with the Kansas City game, and then
Yeah,
you've got.
11.
He's definitely gonna pick the Falcons. You know he is.
Yeah, I don't even like the thought. I honestly don't even want to bet that game. I don't think I will.
Yeah, no, that's going to be an interesting one. Cowboys and Giants in Dallas and Big D. This is going to be another DFS darling. I'm sure
I don't know
everybody's
Dallas
going
is favored by 8.5. They fucking suck.
They can't. They definitely can't stop people.
They
but you got to think eventually they're going to
suck.
figure it out. They have to. I mean,
Joe Flacco stepping in at quarterback.
Joe.
I
What are
mean,
you talking about?
I don't even know what you're
You're
talking
drunk.
about. Yeah,
I probably am. No, who's no. They
Daniel
got Danny
Jones?
Dimes.
Yeah, Danny
Yeah,
Dimes.
Jesus
Danny
Christ.
Dimes against.
Who's actually Danny Dimes is one of my quarterbacks this week in fantasy. He's only
I was thinking
54.
the other New York team. I was thinking the Jets.
Honestly, he's a good play. I do like Darius Slayton.
If you want
for
to,
the
if you want to
Giants.
have, Darius Slayton's definitely one of those guys where he's going to be getting just highballed by Danny Dimes. He's going to do it all day.
I have him on 2 of my fantasy teams.
Yeah, that's not a bad
Okay.
pick at all. I think Danny Dimes is a good pick, and if you want to go up and I gave you some value in the other positions. If you save the money, I would pay for Dak. I would definitely pay up for Dak. I think Dak. I feel like this offense almost just wants to make Dak look good. That for some reason, I had Zeke last year in fantasy, and whenever it comes down to the end zone, they don't feed Zeke anymore. They really don't. They're just if Zeke's getting a touchdown, it's a 16-yard rush that he broke a tackle.
Yeah,
and
I
made something
don't. I don't get that. Why not let him pound the rock?
He's one of the best running backs in the league. I don't get why they don't. But they are adamant about making Dak a premier quarterback, and they've given him the receivers to do it. So I don't see anything wrong with playing any of these QBs. This is, any of the QBs, any of the receivers on the Cowboys side. I could totally see that happening. I do like Schultz as a tight end option.
Yep.
If you're
Same.
he's been getting some looks. Schultz is only 5,300 on FanDuel, which that's cheap when it comes down to the other guys because Hunter Henry, who absolutely hasn't done anything. So this is the disparity against Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry on DK, I don't mind him for this price. He's only 4,300, where Schultz is 4,800. But then on FanDuel, they got him $700 more than Schultz. So definitely go Schultz on that one. Where Schultz will just definitely outperform him on FanDuel for sure. Schultz was good for. He could be good for a couple touchdowns. You never know, especially against this Giants defense where they're going to be predominantly trying to double team these outside receivers. You got Schultz walking right down the middle of the field, wide open.
Honestly, and we're forgetting the biggest point here. Jason Garrett is coming back to town as the offensive coordinator for the Giants. I wish that Saquon Barkley was healthy for this game. I really do. I think everybody, the whole offseason, the last 10 years, we've heard it. Jason Garrett's the reason the Cowboys can't do anything. Well, Mike McCarthy hasn't done much better with his same team.
Well, I think Mike McCarthy's kind of a yes man. You know what I mean?
True, and it's going to take him a couple of years to actually get his roster. And when Aaron Rodgers, you're hearing it this first, Aaron Rodgers gets traded to the Cowboys in the offseason, this is going to be an entirely different team. But I like the Giants to put up some points tomorrow. I like this over 53.
All right,
Zero
cool.
chance Aaron Rodgers gets traded.
We can debate that another day.
There's zero chance.
Zero chance. I like the
John
hot take,
Love
though.
is going to take over that franchise.
I like the hot
Aaron
take.
Rodgers is gonna be
You
wearing
may need to tweet
cowboy
that
blue.
now.
Zero chance.
Gladly. Tweeting it as we speak.
Zero
I
chance.
like it.
That's the sheer balls that you have. I'm surprised you just don't sink your entire foundation in your house right now.
It's don't stay away from any ponds, lakes, or ocean because you'll fucking sink to the bottom of that.
Jesus Christ. Do we have any lean
so
though?
who are you taking in this LaFleur?
Oh, shit. 8.5. I'm not betting it. That's for damn sure. I'm not going to bet it. I will be taking.
Dak has 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and he's thrown for 1,690 yards.
90% of that is garbage yards at the end of the games, where he's making shit happen. Don't get me wrong. He's making shit happen when he absolutely needs to, but this team starts out so slow, which actually, this is the problem with Dallas. They start off horribly slow, and then they crush it at the end. When their
Through
backs
4
are against the
games,
wall, they make
through
shit happen.
4 weeks. Through 4 weeks, Zeke only has 273 rushing yards.
That's ridiculous.
That's crazy to me. But you have to think,
less
too.
than 70 rushing yards a game right now.
Which, honestly, makes sense, because they were down 10-plus points to the Falcons. Had to come back with a bullshit onside kick. And then they were down Cleveland last week, too. So, I mean, obviously in the third and fourth quarter, if they're down like that, they're not going to feed the ball to. That's why Dak has that many.
Amari Cooper, through 4 weeks, has 37 receptions and 401 yards.
So here you go, contrarian bets, right? This one sticks out to me.
Yeah.
This sticks out to me heavily. So, Dallas Cowboys, in the first quarter, they've been dog shit. They've been coming out ridiculously slow.
Yeah.
7.5 points in the first quarter. You're basically getting 2-for-1 odds. Meanwhile,
what was that stat last year? You guys remember that stat last year we made some money on? It was like the Cowboys first half unders or something like that.
Oh yeah, it was money all day, and they've been notorious for that though. They start off absolutely horrible.
Was it first half or first quarter?
It was first quarter.
Yeah, I think it was first quarter.
Yeah.
Was like money.
It was first quarter, which they're saying it's money now because 7.5. The under is minus 240, but then your over is plus 200.
What's the first quarter under?
What?
What's the first quarter under?
It's 7.5
for the first quarter.
For the first quarter for Dallas. You're talking about total?
That might be a half unit play right there.
Just on the over or the under?
Under.
Well, you're not going to be making much because it's minus 240. You know what I mean? Why even throw the money out there at that point? You got your Dallas Cowboys first half, 16.5. So it's like they don't. It's saying they're not going to score in the first quarter, but in the second quarter they light it up. It doesn't make sense to me. But I'm not one to go against history. History is there for a reason. The lines are putting it there. They're dangling out in front of you.
Cowboys have the number one passing offense. They have the number one offense in the league.
No, they should.
Oh.
They should. They have.
Absolutely.
They're stacked at receiver.
The way they keep having to chase, yeah.
They're stacked receiver, and I mean, like the teams that they've played have they came back against the Falcons. They came back against the Seahawks. Two teams that are absolutely horrible.
And they almost came back if it wasn't for that Beckham crazy touchdown with like 2.5 minutes left where he broke every tackle. They probably would have came back against Cleveland too.
So here's a couple things. Giants, 5th ranked defense in the league.
Seriously?
Yep.
That's surprising to me.
That's shocking.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
I may throw a unit on the Giants just for that. I love defense. Their offense is horrible. They're 31st in the league. But the way the Cowboys have been struggling on offense, they're so out of sync.
On defense, right? Yeah. That's what we're talking about. Cowboys on offense are pretty solid.
Honestly, though, this over 53, that's my play tomorrow. I love this play.
You're just expecting fireworks?
What was that?
You're just expecting fireworks to happen over in there in AT&T?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I honestly think the Giants can put up 3 scores tomorrow, and then you know that Cowboy offense is going to put up 30 plus.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I'm with you, DB. I like the over. That's my bet.
Yeah, that's my play tomorrow. Everything else it's probably going to be looking for live numbers.
I like it. I don't know. Yeah.
Well,
why did I just say they were out of sync right before I said they were the number one offense, and that was stupid.
Well, you're gonna keep the updates on Twitter though, right? Obviously, everything that's on Twitter right now, Chain Gang Sports. Any type of live bet the DB makes, he uploads it to the Twitter, letting everybody know.
Oh, absolutely.
Moving to the
Any
last
live
game.
bet I make, I'm not uploading because or you can just fade it. It's fade material.
Or Gunther, you can tell me and I can post it too. Doesn't matter. We can work that out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll let it.
Make
We'll let
sure
it know.
if anyone watches this, make sure you follow us. Instagram, Twitter, Chain Gang.
Absolutely. We
Let's
don't have
go.
an Instagram yet, though. Anyways, moving on to the last game before Gunther fucking shits his pants over there.
Yeah, Gunther, what are you eating right now?
I have no
Peanuts.
idea. Of course, he's eating peanuts. I swear to God, this man is going on 90 years old.
That was unnecessary. You fucking
Yeah.
asshole.
Keep putting salted nuts in your mouth, all right? We're gonna get sponsored by Cialis just because we got Gunther on this team. All right. Anyways, moving into the last game, we got Vikings Seahawks. Vikings Seahawks. This is actually one of my bets. I gotta say it. I love Vikings +7 here. I'm not saying they win. I think they're up late in the game. Russell does Russell things, and they end up winning the game. Seattle being. However, I think 7 points is way too much against this defense. I get they've been bad. I get they've struggled on the defensive side of the ball. Offense, Kirk Cousins always scary in these prime games. However,
Sunday night, that may be the dog call of the week.
I really like it. I really do like it. I'm not saying that it's worth the 265 money line, but if you're gonna take a big dog, why not take the Minnesota Vikings against that defense? Why not? I feel like they've got the firepower to keep up with it. A Viking helmet. I would love a Viking helmet. That'd be great. Give me actually a big ass horn to fucking drink the beer out of after they win tomorrow night.
Absolutely.
That'd be great. The reasons why I think Justin Jefferson has a fucking game tomorrow. I think he goes off. I think he's the next big receiver in the NFL. Honestly, he's only 5,500 on DK, 5,700 on FanDuel. If you want to compare, Keenan Allen is 6,400 and 6,800. Jerry Jeudy is 5,400 and 5,500. So he's basically, they're saying that he tomorrow against the Seattle defense, which is going to be double covering Thielen, who's just going to let him run free against whoever is left for Seattle. They're saying that he's got just as much value as Jerry Jeudy going against the Pats.
Here's a fun little tidbit. Seattle defense is the worst defense statistically.
They're historically bad, especially against the pass.
Yeah.
Historically bad, especially against the pass. I really feel like this is a game where you're going to have Dalvin Cook. You can control the small downs with Dalvin Cook, and you can get a couple of explosive plays with that receiving game, which honestly, those receivers, they're no slouches. I mean, yes, they got rid of Diggs, and that's an adjustment period, but I love this Justin Jefferson kid, and I think that
Would you tease the Vikings with the over?
Well, the over's 57. That's the highest one on the slate. And
that's what I mean. So 56, 51.
But here we go. Then we're taking an over in primetime games, which we have always profited a lot of money on taking the under in those games.
Mm-hmm.
So now, would you take under? That would be saying, hey, Vikings plus
going against the worst defense in the league.
13.5. Let me just see what we got here. Let me eliminate the other two. Eliminate the Rams, eliminate the Steelers, get that shit out of here. This is actually very interesting because I'm actually intrigued with this.
I think it's a good teaser spot anyway.
If you did it 6 points, you got Vikings 13, and the under then goes to 63.
Yeah. But what if you teased it with the Rams?
What's the payout? Plus 150, probably ballpark-ish. It probably yeah. You take another team on that, a 6-point team. It'd probably be around plus 140, 150.
Let me see. I'm gonna do it out real quick. You guys can go ahead and I'll let you know.
I just you gotta expect that eventually, and here's another angle that I look at this, and I feel so adamantly about these games that I'm betting, and it's because I put a lot of thought in it, and I can see it going a certain way. So another thing that brings up my attention, Seattle. Who does Seattle play next week? That's actually another thing I wanted to look
So
at. And I
if I
wasn't
tease,
prepared
if
on
I
that one.
tease Seattle, I got it at -1.5 plus 105. And then if I tease it with the Rams, I get the Rams -1.5 even money.
It jumps only to even money though. With the 3 teams, what is it at with 3
No,
teams?
two team teaser.
Add the 3 teams because I wanted to see if I was close with that 150. It sounds like I'm not going to be that close if that's already even at 2 teams.
Yeah. So I mean, realistically,
Granted, I'm going off
playing,
Bovada here, and Bovada, the house is going to try to take as much money as they can.
But both teams are playing pretty similar. Like Seattle's giving up 6.6 yards per game right now.
Yeah. I was
Minnesota's
hoping
only
that
giving
Seattle
up
was kind of.
6.3.
I knew
So,
Seattle was going to play a division game, and I was hoping they were going to do with the 49ers, so they kind of look ahead.
Yeah.
But they're playing the Cardinals next week. But here was my point with the Vikings. The Vikings just got done watching the Bears go to 4-1. The Packers are probably one of the best teams in the league.
What's the third team I'm adding to this teaser?
We'll figure that out after.
I would
realistically,
out of those two, out of your options, I would go Steelers.
Yeah.
Over Rams.
But these two teams, the Vikings and the Seahawks, played last December.
Mm-hmm.
It was only, what was it? It was a 2.5 point favorite for Seattle at that point.
Mm-hmm.
What's different between these two games? Yeah, Minnesota's banged up. They do have a young secondary. Barr is out. But their offense is still can be explosive with Cook. You have Jefferson now. You still have Thielen. I think Adams is out for Seattle as well, which is going to be a pretty big loss. So, I mean, why is it now a full touchdown? Yeah, he was out last week with a groin injury. I don't know if it carries over into this week.
I think Jamal Adams shows up for Sunday night.
And I think Eric Kendricks plays for Minnesota this week, so that'll be a huge addition.
They're saying Jamal Adams is going to be expected back after Week 6 bye, so Jamal Adams is out of the game.
Yeah, but still, though,
regardless, come on, man.
7 points for a primetime game. Cousins is 5-12 in primetime games. Mind you, that's 0-6 on Monday night.
Yeah, so you got to think he's really only 5-6.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he does all right on Sunday night.
If I were to lean here, I would take the +7.
Yeah,
on a primetime game. I have no play tomorrow, but I'm with you. I like that +7. That's too many points.
I'm putting this one. I'm putting this one in my bet of the week. I love this Vikings team.
Seattle always has to have that comeback, would win by a field goal.
I think that happens. I think Russell Wilson pulls another rabbit out of his hat. He shows why he's the MVP of this league right now. I think, he's gonna get him another win, but I don't think it's gonna be handedly, and I don't think that Minnesota just rolls over after literally, when you think about it, the season's at a race right now. You've got the Packers undefeated and you've got the Bears at 4-1. And the Bears aren't playing Trubisky; they're playing Nick Foles. So Nick Foles ain't gonna lose them all these games that Trubisky loses them. You know what I mean? They're gonna make shit happen, and I think that kind of puts Minnesota. Their backs are against the wall. They got to start showing up, and they got to start showing up tomorrow night.
Yeah, I agree.
So I added. I have the Rams -1.5, Baltimore -5.5, and Seattle Seahawks -1.5 for +170.
Seattle -1.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that they come back late.
That's a solid 3-team teaser.
You might be sweating that. I wouldn't touch. Yeah. I would find another partner instead of that Seattle game. Just to be honest with you, I would go with the Steelers over Seattle. I feel like Steelers smacking the Philly. I think Steelers smacking around the Philadelphia Eagles is much more bound to happen than the Seattle defense getting a stop.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And why are you gonna wait all day to finish your teaser? You might as well.
Yeah, but that's.
If I'm gonna teaser, if I'm gonna parlay, it's gonna be all the 1 p.m. games or the 4 p.m. games. Like I'm not trying to sit here all day and sweat it out. I do that enough on Saturdays with college football.
Those are good odds.
I got you. Well-
they are definitely good odds, but just for the sake of things, swap out the Seahawks.
Okay,
for the
money's money.
Do you still get the same odds or similar odds?
It just depends on the teams.
Yeah, so swap out the Seahawks for the Steelers, and tell me what you have.
I got Steelers minus 1.5 plus 105. Ravens minus 5.5 minus 105. And where are my Rams? Rams minus 1.5 even money.
So what's with those three teams? What's that give you?
The fuck is this?
It's
Hold on.
It's gotta be
Just
pretty
a-
damn similar. It has to be. It has to
Doing
be.
some weird shit. Hold on a second.
It has-
Well, while he's doing that,
plus
DB,
170 if
DB,
not.
give me your absolute rock star tomorrow. Who is the DFS fantasy points? Who's that 3-touchdown flex player? Who is it tomorrow?
I still got it at 170 DB plus 170.
See, it's same.
Yeah,
it's
so I
same
mean,
bet, and I
and-
feel like that's a lot safer. But don't let me talk you out of it.
Yeah, and at least that way, like, you're not waiting all day for that. So, my absolute lock tomorrow.
Yep.
Darren Fells. I think Darren Fells is going to be the go-to guy in the red zone tomorrow for the Houston Texans. I think he gets, 8 to 10 targets, 75 plus yards, 2 touchdowns. So that's my go-to guy. That's who I'm locking in for tight end tomorrow.
Damn. I did not see that one coming. As far as like everybody on this slate going with Darren Fells.
Hot take.
That is a hot take.
DB
That is
with
that is
fucking
about
hot takes.
that is about as hot as fucking Aaron Rodgers getting traded to Dallas.
I
Yeah.
know.
So I'm a king of hot takes this week. I also said this week that 12 out of the 15 games would be decided by double digits. I'm changing my mind. That was a bad take by me earlier this week.
Yeah, whatever. I think honestly, I love the Justin Jefferson value pick. I love looking at my teams here. I love Justin Jefferson, and I love. I want to say Mike Davis. I think Mike Davis is gonna have.
I do like Mike Davis tomorrow as well. And with Jefferson, with Davis, that gives you the opportunity to get like Amari Cooper in because
They're definitely not the
shots
highest guys on the slate. Absolutely not. So you're taking 2 mid-tier guys that I feel like are gonna get top tier numbers tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
But
like
if you
Cooper
go with
over,
those guys,
Gallup.
if realistically,
Who?
I always
Who,
forget
Jefferson?
about Gallup, to be honest.
Without a doubt. I like Jefferson. I like Jefferson over Keenan Allen. I like Jefferson over technically for the price. For $2,000 less, I like him more than Calvin Ridley. Now I think Calvin Ridley gets his points, especially if Julio Jones is out. Whether Julio Jones plays, I think Calvin Ridley gets his points. But I think for $2,000 less, I can get Justin Jefferson, I could see him getting 150, 2 touchdowns tomorrow. Easy.
What's the price on? Maybe you guys can look this up. What's Gallup? What's his price?
Let me look here. But the thing with Jefferson though, where he's playing the Sunday night slate, that would be like a good captain spot. If we're looking just at like the main slate tomorrow, the 1 p.m., 4 p.m. games, I think my lock out. I'm going Houston tomorrow. I'll be able to fill in some Dallas offense. Let me see what Gallup is.
I think Dallas is going to be one of the more chalky plays.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's a sneaky. But that's why I'm going to fade them. I think I am fading the shit out of. I mean, you could have Dak at QB, but you're going to be paying for top money. So that's why I think if you go Daniel Jones, Mike Davis, and Justin Jefferson, you've got 3 spots in your lineup all cheap. And after that, you could fill out with. You could go Zeke. You could go, somebody that's going to be getting.
The only issue with your strategy, though, is unless you're doing an all-day slate, you're not going to be able to get Justin Jefferson in there where he's playing the 8 p.m. game.
Yeah, that's true. You'd have to do that slate that doesn't always necessarily happen. Now, you throw in that with an Amari Cooper, you could absolutely do
who's
that.
only 7,800 on FanDuel, which is still
But
pretty
that's going to be a
reasonable.
sneaky stat. I didn't know about New York's defense being that stifling.
Right.
That's a shocking stat.
But I mean, realistically, like for top wide receivers, and I'm with you, and you said it earlier. Like I try not to pay up for wide receiver. You have so many options.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. Like if I'm gonna pay up, it's gonna be for quarterback, and not even necessarily quarterback because you can get some value. But if I'm gonna pay up, I'm gonna pay up for running back. And then I don't know about your strategy, but
By the way,
personally, my strategy-
Gallup is 5,400. He's 100 less than Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. So I mean, that could be a spot for you to play for like the 1 p.m. slate. Personally, my strategy for these slates is my flex is a running back for the 4 p.m. slates. Like that's no matter what I'm looking at for games. I lock in a running back at flex, and it's in the 4 p.m. games just in case I have to swap it out depending on how my lineup's doing. Like I still have that option.
Well, you can definitely go with Taylor. Taylor's a 4 p.m. game. Zeke's going to be a 4 p.m. game.
Yeah, I know for whatever reason they stopped giving Zeke the ball inside the red zone, but Zeke's only at 9,000. He's an $11,000 running back. He's locked in for me tomorrow.
Zeke's a high fade.
He's the highest.
He's been a high
player
fade
on
for
the
me
slate.
for a hot minute, which is weird because they got Christian McCaffrey at 8,600 tomorrow. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, yeah, but we know
Has he been? Is it confirmed that he's playing tomorrow?
No, he's still out until at least next week.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me why they have
So
that. They also have
it's gonna
Nick
be Mark
Chubb.
Davis getting.
They also have Nick Chubb in here for a lineup.
Yeah,
Like, it's crazy.
But if we're talking lineups tomorrow, like right now, before tomorrow morning, like my current lineup is Watson at QB. I have Jonathan Taylor and Robinson as my 2 running backs. I've got Slayton, Fuller, and Cooper as my wideouts. I have Fells at the tight end. I've got Zeke in the flex, and I'm going with the Colts defense tomorrow. I like to see Baker throw two picks just like normal. And again, if that weather's as bad as they're saying, that should be an under game all day.
Yeah, I think the Browns are the worst 3-1 team right now.
Yeah, that's how I felt about the Bears, and then they went ahead and beat Tom Brady and the Bucs. So
I'm literally building out a lineup right now, and it's gonna be relatively easy to do. Wow, I'm surprised the Pittsburgh Steelers defense isn't the top. That's actually shocking.
I love that Clemson just scored because that pretty much closes the backdoor cover.
What's the score now? I saw it. Miami was up at
42-17.
Yeah.
So even if Miami scores,
your Fells is cheap. I'll even go in there with that. All right, so here you go. So I got Daniel Jones, Mike Davis, James Robinson. Then you got Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley.
Hold on. Stop first. What slate are you playing that you can still put in Justin Jefferson?
The all-day slate.
Oh, gross. Okay.
Well, that's what you have to do to play him.
Yeah, but why not just play like the primetime slate or like the Sunday Monday slate in that case?
Okay, so take it this way: if you want to do the quick slate, then sub out Justin Jefferson for somebody like Gallup, and you even save $100. But after that, you got Fells. You have Fells there for your tight end, and then after that, you had David Johnson going in with the flex, and then you can even have the Steelers defense in there. But that's that. Anyways, boys, we're sitting here at about an hour 20. That's about 20 minutes over what I wanted to do, but that's okay. We all had good content out there. Bet of the day, real quick, go around, spend a minute doing it. Give me your bet of the day, Randy.
kind of caught me off guard with that one.
I
I'll go
for
first. I'll have two.
Go
I
ahead.
have two bets of the day. I really like that 54.5 for Jags Texans. I know we have the bet on the Texans -6. But my two bets for tomorrow are going to be the Jags Texans over 54.5 and the Giants Cowboys over 53.
Okay. Randy, what are you feeling?
So my bet of the day is Colts at pick.
Colts at pick.
Yeah.
He likes it. That's
like
actually
it.
I could see that. I could
basically
see
doubling down.
Come on. I mean, come on. I said it. I don't want to wait all day for my pick of the day, but my pick of the day has got to be the Vikings against the Seahawks at 7, at whole touchdown. Yeah, that's going to be my pick of the day. If I have to go outside of that and pick an earlier game,
I would also lock in Pittsburgh -7 against the Eagles. I think that defense is way too much for Carson Wentz. He's getting beat up with these, with what he's done recently against the other teams. They played San Francisco, Cincinnati, and the Rams. I mean, so his last two games, they beat San Francisco 25-20. We all watched that one. He barely scraped that out. And San Francisco defense, I don't think is as gnarly as Pittsburgh's. So I think it's an atrocious game. I see this at more than -7.
Yeah. That's actually really not a bad idea at all. I was looking at it and I didn't really want to take yours. That would have been a really good pick. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm looking at the lines right now. I'm trying to. I want to keep it. I want to keep it spread out. I'm looking at the lines right now, and let me see what I got here.
I mean, Volk would go. He'd take the Eagles on that all day.
He just Snapchatted me, so I don't understand why he was so busy.
It's Volk.
Did he send you a picture of his bowling shoes?
No, he said something with "you motherfuckers," and then I stopped playing it.
Yeah.
Clemson just intercepted the ball.
Here's something
that
I'll go different.
Fucking lock in that money, baby. 1,500. Thank you.
Here's something that I'll go with. Give me the Niners team total. I said it before in the segment. I feel like they just got embarrassed on national TV. You've got the Miami Dolphins coming over. Now, Brian Flores, love that coach. Don't get me wrong. You got Jimmy
Defensive
G.
coordinator.
You got Jimmy G coming back. Their over/under points-wise is set to 30.5. Give me the over. Hot take.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know. I'd love to ride with you on that one, but I can't. Flores knows Garoppolo better than anybody. They were on the same team in the Patriots.
Give me the over. 30.
All right.
So I've added all 6 of these plays to our spreadsheet. So.
All right, everybody. That's our first show. Y'all have a good night.
Let's fucking go.
We'll tune in. We might even talk about a little bit on Sunday night. We'll do a live show maybe. If not, we'll catch you on Monday night. Everybody have a good night. That's a wrap. Have a good one.
Peace.